My name is Amrita Sen, and you are at the Highgate Studios, which is a studio I've built in the back of my house when we decided that I didn't want to go to an office anymore, but I wanted to work from home. Uh, Luckily, we have 1,800 square feet of studio space that is primarily being used to create art, music, and video. I started off my career as a business person representing other artists, and I got to know a lot about music, and I got to know a lot about retail because I was doing retail deals for very many famous people. And then in 2009, I was kind of getting tired of it, and there was this unique opportunity that came up to sing on the Oscars. So I auditioned, and I auditioned for Slumdog Millionaire. The composer of Slumdog Millionaire was A.R. Rahman, and just auditioned. The reason I auditioned was because as a child, I'd learned Indian classical music, Bollywood music, and Western opera, all kind of simultaneously. I'd go back and forth from India to America, and just had tons and tons of teachers throughout my childhood, and really cultivated this singing style, and gave it up really where I didn't think I should have given it up. I regretted it a lot. In 2009, when I did the Oscars, it gave me an opportunity to get back into professional singing, and that was fun. After that, I really started doing a lot in professional singing. I worked on a lot of records, I worked on a lot of TV shows, a lot of commercials, really got back in full time doing it. My thought was, I wasn't going to become a rock star. I was too old to do that. I didn't have a vehicle, but I was also a trained visual artist. My mom was a very, very good visual artist, and the idea was, what if I had an opportunity to combine the music I was making around Bollywood and did the art I did and combine it. And I created this brand called Bali Doll. It had an exhibition in Art Basel. Timbaland actually presented it. So it kind of happened very quickly right after the decision to go into art, original art and original music came. Then let's see, I was doing Bali Doll, have been doing Bali Doll in retail for about 10 years. Started another brand through Dillard's and through MAC Cosmetics under my name, and just kept doing retail-driven art, paintings, pillows, all sorts of textiles. You'll see my stuff all over these different retailers like Pier 1, Walmart, if you type in Amrita Sen Designs. And always had this kind of curiosity about what if I were to keep combining the two, right? And that is the trick, is if you're someone who sings and composes music, but you're also like a visual artist, the real trick, at least for me, was, okay, how do you just do them separately, or do you do them as a combo? To do it as a combo is really, really hard without the backing of a lot of studio people, a lot of money, and it just is not. It's not. I would say it's not advisable to do it that way. Probably the best examples of the combination of music, art, and video is a movie, is a motion picture, is an animation, music, art, and video, over and over again. But those are $100 million projects, $150 million project. So it leaves someone like me who likes to kind of do all those things at a bit of a quandary, right? But what I thought was, let's start, right? Let me continue doing each of these individual things commercially. Like I sell my music in catalog, I do that commercially. Let me continue selling my textiles and my paintings commercially through Pier 1 and Walmart. But this whole concept of finding whatever vehicle I had to combine the two in a way that didn't require $100 million was intriguing to me. And what is fascinating is when I first started working with RoundGlass, I think they would always be very, very encouraging of my desire to do, number one, meditation music at a level that is not being done at scale, right? People are definitely experimenting with meditation music and seeing, oh, well, this could be meditation music and that could be meditation music. What about if we were to include all the lo-fi into meditation music? But is it being done in scale? I'm not sure it's being done in scale, right? Where large audiences are going to one or two specific channels and saying, this is music for well-being. So I think RoundGlass has such a desire to do that. But what RoundGlass also has a desire to do, it's clear now, is they have a desire to do that for art. And if you're combining music and art, you're basically making video. So to make a long story short, we, in partnership with RoundGlass, what we are setting out to do is to say, look, we're going to do music for well-being at a scale that perhaps we wouldn't have thought to do 5 years ago. But now we're going to do it at a scale. And we're going to do these segments. We're going to do EDM. We're going to do soundscapes. We're going to do ambient music. We're going to do sleep stories. We're going to do heroic stories, scored front to back. And we're going to do things like, chill music or jazz music. And we're going to do music that's from West Africa and mashups. So we're going to do these things where the catalog is deep and the catalog is also accessible to people of all age groups. How are we going to make it different other than the music is good? Well, we're going to do art, we're going to do music, and we're going to do video. So what the studio is actually set up to do is to do the triangle. The studio is set up to start a concept based on the inherent story. We're going to tell a story about Hans Christian Andersen. We're going to tell a story about Charles Dickens. We're going to score it front to back. We're going to make it something that people could also listen to and say, oh gosh, we're hearing a 3-act structure. We're going to have a conceptualized art basket for that story, and we're going to make it move. But we're going to do all three in such a way that they're interacting live and that they're sold in the context of well-being. So is it happening? Absolutely it's happening. Do I want to keep doing it better, faster, more? Absolutely. And that's the journey I go through every day, right? And the more I do it, the more I realize if I make all the three parts talk to each other constantly and they're constantly giving each other feedback, then I become the cheerleader, and that maybe is my only job. Is I like to sing, I like to compose, I like to draw, but I'm also realizing in my own journey that that's not the job. The job is to encourage other people to do it so that they realize that all three are linked and they're related. You're going more digital piano?
Yeah, we just chose this for now. We can do whatever with
Can
it.
you just put a really good piano on it?
Yeah. And then I'm playing like that because I transition to the next key of
That's
the
fine.
thing.
Yeah, much better.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
And then it goes into.
As he continued on his journey,
Yeah.
Siddhartha was found in various towns along the way, wheeling the old tree, but all the while spreading his teachings. He wanted to tell as many people as he possibly could about what he had learned sitting under the tree. Look at him, said Siddhartha. He took care of my beloved Dara, and now he is tending to the world. Siddhartha's teachings spread far and wide. The search for peace and the search for love are within you.
Oh,
because
right there's the version with
they may
these
come
two.
to your doorstep as individuals, but if you do your duty, they will unite together to bring you joy. Siddhartha yearned to see Dara again and meet his own son. Had she forgotten him? The uncertainty of Dara.
I think good art, music, and story should be able to live. Theoretically, they should be able to live despite what your distribution is, right? So right now our distribution is YouTube, our distribution is the RoundGlass app, our distribution is Spotify. The theory behind any good content that I've read in so many occasions, that once 3D glasses are, like, every household has it, like a lot of households have it, but once every household has it, the content should be as applicable to that as it was on YouTube, right? If the story is good, if the music is emotive, and if the melody lines and the playing, the tonality of it's good, and your modeling is crisp and it's beautifully colored, that same asset should be relevant in Meta, and it should also be relevant in, like, a Van Gogh exhibit where you're doing an installation of that hero story, or you're doing an installation of that ambient music in a big, dome, or like a Van Gogh exhibit. You should be able to feel that emotion in many different ways, right? Through many different platforms, because all we're really trying to do is emote. We're trying to get as many tricks and as many tactics as we can to get people to feel something and have a pulse, right? So that's the job of any content creator, is to make sure that you're a human being, the pulse is still working, we're feeling, we're elevated, we're high elevation, and and we spend our time with thoughts that will do good stuff. So you basically now have essentially 4 departments that they're almost forced to work together every day, right? Department 1 is story. Picking the right stories that need to be told musically and in the context of living courageously by day and living peacefully at night. See, most people, when they go through the day, they don't want to hear a sleep story while they're driving their car. They want to hear a story about the firemen. They want to hear a story about how someone climbed a mountain. They want to hear a story about how someone took a risk, right? There's a lot of great stories that you can tell cinematically, just in spoken word, that we are doing. In the same vein, when people come home from work or they end the day around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, they don't want to necessarily think about, oh, what risks do I want to take now? They want to think about reflection and peacefulness and friendship and nurturing relationships and looking back. So there's a story for that. So our process starts with segmenting stories, live by day and live by night, right? 2 forms of living. Then we come up with a conceptualization of how we're going to score that in Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, right? While we're doing that, we are going full-blown into art development. We're getting we're being book cover artists. I'm personally drawing. We're doing things that are AI-generated art. We have a network of tons of artists around who work for my design company who are now dedicating their time saying, yeah, Amrita, we want to do book covers for stories too. So we get that going. And then we take it, once that story is developed by me and Jake, we take it upstairs. It's fully scored. Piano, we're using every software imaginable. We're going inside into and recording things on the Steinway. We're playing guitar. We're doing live drums. We do whatever we have to make a score. Then it goes into a mix and master environment. Many times we will either hire someone to go on a mic and do spoken word, or we'll have somebody come in, we'll mic them, we'll get the spoken word, we'll score it, and then we're done. Once we're done, it goes into video. We take the art, we add to the art, and then the people you met, Ryan, Tom, and Jesse, we then decide what kind of video that story or that piece of music will be. Right now we have 3 different types of video. We have moving art, which is like that Van Gogh exhibit stuff. We've got, I would say, 3D generative, which is using the best and the latest of AI, what AI really has to offer in terms of generating art that speaks to a specific emotion in a specific nanosecond of time, right? And that AI should become your friend and tool and not dictate the art. So we have a very clear whiteboard of what kind of art we're going to do, and we use AI to the point where it speeds up our workflow. Another third path is when we do 3D modeling, where we're doing real like motion, like cinema 4D, 3D movement and spatial, and like showing movement through space and 3D planes. So that's another form. We'll decide very quickly which of those three. And then we render it. It goes into a full-blown, like what I say, marketing engine, marketing machine, and then we'll see if people like it or not. Well, I think that what's next for me is to test a certain few business ideas, right? Because I am a business person. I have an MBA. So what I also find fascinating about this is what products and businesses have inherent momentum. What products and businesses have the wind at their back, where it's gonna kind of happen, right? So the next thing for me is to test and see what has real stickability and growth ability. I hate that, like these are terrible words, but what has growth dynamics? I think what I'd like to test is meditation and well-being for all people in the form of immersive installations. I think there's something that's going to happen in that business, right? I hope I could do it in partnership with RoundGlass. I hope my partnership with RoundGlass is the vehicle to make it happen, but I think it's going to happen anyway. Like, people are so messed up by the pandemic and social media and the distractions of, oh, am I good? Am I not good? Am I valid? Am I not valid? Do I have enough likes? It's so bad that I think giving people an opportunity to go into an environment where they can really contemplate and really think and study and be and do it through the form of art and music, I think that's something that's kind of going to be a thing, where an environment where people are not judged. I think that's going to be a thing. So I'd love to test that.
This is using visual synthesis. So you take one image and you'll basically tell it to synthesize all the steps in between the start and the finish, right? And so what you get, you never really know. And so we're taking artwork, video footage that has been deep dreamed, and then applying visual synthesis to it, so it is truly original, and the end result, we don't even really know half the time what we're going to get.
Now, when you say you don't know, it's like, is it a crapshoot? Do you get to at least manipulate some of the parts to it to get to where you want it?
Well, technically, you can choose whether you want to apply the way, the synthesizer, how deeply it applies the style. And but the problem is with the visual synthesizer, anytime a new element enters the frame, you should technically, but then you can't do it continuously, you should technically redo another keyframe and continue applying it, because it doesn't know how to apply the style to a new element.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's why you kind of get these like cool, for our purpose it's fine. Because you get like these cool dreamy effects.
See, technology, instead of being an enemy, when I say the word AI or user generated, people get scared. But what it allows us to do is it allows us to put a lot of spoken word visual content out there, and without the backing of a major studio, figure out algorithmically what works. And if it turns out that someone with a very specific female or male voice or binary voice works with this kind of story, with this kind of music, let's do more of it. Let's make money for those people that are artists, right? But I have this gut feeling that spoken word albums with score is going to be a thing that young people are going to like. Maybe we'll figure that out 10 years from now. Hopefully people will. But I have a feeling that's going to be like a thing. RoundGlass YouTube channel, we have over 5,000 minutes of music now, 5,000 minutes of music and video. We have it's RoundGlass Music on YouTube, living roundglass.com, right? And if you want to go to the music channel, roundglass.com/music. My social channel, Amrita Sen YouTube, my Instagram. You can look up my products on Pier 1, all that kind of stuff. It's all the same old stuff. Hi, my name is Amrita Sen, and you've just been buzzed.